Okay, hey folks, so just as promised, 25 minutes of a stretching and loosening routine for you to do if you want to in the mornings or just before bed. It can, just give you a nice start or finish to the day. So I'll get straight onto it. So we just interlink the fingers and we lift and stretch up, raising up the ribs, raising up the shoulders, kind of moving a little from side to side, stretching into each side of the body, just keeping the tailbone nice and soft, keeping the legs nice and loose, just really lifting up on one side, stretching up the ribs, moving to the other side, stretching up the other side of the torso, and this time pushing down with the right foot, or the right ball of the foot, pushing in and just allowing that stretch up to the right palm, coming back down, and then pushing into the floor with the left foot and just allowing that stretch to come up the left side of the body. And back down. So from here we're just going to do some arm swinging. We just allow the arms to drop. Kind of just allow the weight of the arms to fall down through the body. We bend the knees as the arms come down. Just allowing the weight of the arms to be completely loose. Just swinging. Just allowing the weight of the arms to pull on the sockets of the shoulders. So just doing that for a few moments. Breath's not too important here. You can link it to the movements if you'd like to, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, just shaking the hands out and just doing some shoulder rolls. So we're going to bring the shoulders forwards first. So we're moving the shoulders back, up and over the front of the body. And if I turn around, I'm trying to use the muscles in my back to initiate the movement in underneath the shoulder blades and the scapula. So I'm lifting up from the middle of the back, up and rolling the shoulders forwards. Just keeping on that movement, rolling that forwards, getting into the muscles underneath the shoulder blades. Probably notice my body's kind of moving all at once, and that's just because the connective tissues are moving together as I raise up the shoulders. So now I'm going to do some reverse shoulder rolls. Again, we're trying to get into the muscles in the back, so not the tops of the shoulders, but rather allowing them to be nice and heavy, nice and loose. Bringing them forwards, first of all, to bring the scapula across the back. Open and curving that forwards. And rolling them over. I'm really trying to squeeze the scapula together at the back. So just doing that a few times. And just shake out the hands, shake out the arms. Okay, so we're just going to do some movements with the neck. So first of all, we just need to be quite careful with the neck at first, especially if it's the morning, just in case we don't pull any of the small little muscles that we've got there. So what we do is gently lower the head down, so the chin touches the chest, and we just make very small movements from side to side, just rolling the head across, or the chin across the chest. And just gradually increasing the range of motion, but not wanting to pull particularly on the neck at the moment. Just nice and soft. And only when it feels a bit looser, do we then take it a bit further and begin to start to stretch these muscles in the neck down into the shoulders here. You can match this to the breathing, so coming to center, inhaling and stretching, And exhaling back to center. Just loosening off everything, stretching out the neck. And just taking the head just back down to that center place. And just raising the head up to look forwards. And we just gently look to the side, to the left, and to the right. And over to the left again. Just trying to keep this conscious kind of elongation of the neck up, so I'm not kind of tilting my head back or too far down. It's just nice and elongated. And back to center. And just shake out the arms again once more. So the next movement we did in class last time, bring the palms facing up in front of us, just nice and soft on the knees. We just extend the palms forwards, roll them around. Take them back and then bring them forwards again. And we want this kind of undulation of the chest, so the chest is opening, inhaling, exhaling as the chest closes, inhaling as the chest opens, exhaling the hands through, inhaling them out, and just making that movement a few times, just kind of getting the coordination right. So we're just gradually opening up the body from the top all the way down to the feet. It's kind of an easy way to start remembering these exercises, so you don't need to watch me doing them. You just work your way down the body. And just once more. And through. Okay, just shake out once more. Just move the body a little, shake out the feet. Okay, so we're just going to do some hip circles. Again, remembering this line that we've got running from the hip to the bottom of the rib cage. We're just kind of wanting to roll a stretch around the body. So nice and gently at first, just taking care of anything that feels tight, or especially avoiding anything if you feel a sharp pain. Just backing away, being nice and soft at first. So although my hips aren't completely still, it's actually the top portion of my body that's moving around. And changing directions. Just trying to open up all the tissues of the ribs and the sides of the body. You can kind of get the arms in there if you want to. And change direction. And back to center. So now we did the spinal wave last week. So it's this counterclockwise rotation of the hips. And then we're bringing a wave up into the top of the spine. Keeping the neck nice and elongated as the wave moves up. And just to encourage this movement, as soon as you've allowed that movement to come up into the spine, we just drop the tailbone. So it just encourages the spine to open a little bit more. We want that stretch to come all the way up the spine and into the top of the neck, into the skull. It's good to spend a little bit longer on this one. I won't spend too long in this video, but maybe taking 5 or 10 minutes every now and again can really help to loosen everything up in the spine, a really important aspect of the practice. And it's just increases the health quite dramatically if we do have a nice strong and subtle spine. Alright, So now we're going to come down to the floor, or almost. So we take the legs out to the sides, we bring the elbows on the inside of the thighs, and we're just sitting into the hips. We're allowing the torso, the weight of the torso, to just give a little bit of a stretch on the inside of the quad, the connective tissues around the kind of speedo underpant line. And we're just beginning to make little movements from side to side. Just encouraging the joints of the hips to open, to get all that connective tissue loose. I'm not staying still for too long in postures, just keeping everything nice and loose and moving everything from side to side. Obviously, there's contraindications if you have knee problems, and if you do feel any pain in your knees, then you need to back away from the stretch and just keep it a little bit higher and just make these kind of movements from side to side. Just be aware of your own body. So, we take the hands down to the floor if it's available to you, and we just begin to rock from side to side, just encouraging a little bit more movement into the hips now. And we take the weight over to the right foot, keeping that leg nice and extended, and taking the weight into the hands as we move across to the other side. Again, making little movements just to encourage the hips and the quad to open. And over to the other side. Again, just these small movements. You can begin to move the heel or the toes around, and circling, just getting everything open. Changing the direction of the feet. Changing across. Rolling the toes around. Just keeping everything nice and light. Encouraging just this area, the inside of the thighs, to be nice and open and loose. And over once more to the other side. And we're just going to take either one hand behind us, or we can just sit. So we take the bum to the floor. We bring either the leg out to the side, so the foot is on the outside of the body. If that's too much of a challenge for you, we bring the leg onto the inside. So we're just making these small rotations around, keeping the spine up, the chest open. Just making these rotations around. Just trying to open, get all this area open and loose. And change the direction. And then we're going to turn in the hips to face the forward leg. And of course this is dependent on your own flexibility. So maybe you can come to here, that's also fine. Maybe you can come to here. It's completely dependent on your body, so we just take care of our own bodies here. So what we want to do is extend and lift up from the chest before we begin to move further down into the stretch. And we want it to fold into this quad, this space on the inside of the hips. Just gradually beginning to use a little bit of pressure with the hands, and we just begin to fall down. Just breathing into the stretch wherever is kind of pulling and feels tight. Just breathe into that space. And as we walk the hands across to the other side, we stay. And again, just breathing into the stretch. This can feel a little weird at first. Sometimes we haven't got the flexibility to fold here. So don't worry if you find that there's a blockage here. Okay, so we take this leg up, and we can either move across in this way, or just find any way that you can to move into this other side. And again, making these rotations, just getting everything open on the inside of the hips. Changing the direction. And again, you can isolate these movements, spend 5-10 minutes doing them to get the body really open and flexible, but just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to kind of speed through everything. begin to turn the hips. Folding into this area here is really important. Just taking the hands forwards across the leg, lifting up the chest, and when it's available to us, just moving further into that stretch. Spending a few moments with the breath, with the areas of tension, just trying to use the breath to release the tension. With the inhale, trying to kind of fill up the body to increase the stretch, and with the exhale, just releasing the body further down. Just feeling into the breath. And just gently beginning to move the hands across to the other side, folding over the other leg. Again, if you can't make the stretch, don't worry. And you can swap the leg over or something if you need to fold over that leg. Okay, so we bring the feet together. We have the toes in line, fingers come across and grip the other side. We keep the spine upright, the chest strong and open, and we just bounce the legs, bounce the knees down to the floor. Obviously if we've got tight hips, maybe it's a little more like this, but eventually we begin to open up and keep everything nice and solid. So just keep bouncing those knees. And we just take the feet a little bit further forwards. And just gently begin to pull yourself towards the feet. Sometimes you might just be able to hear, sometimes further, it's okay, just listen to your body. And we just kind of make little movements from side to side, just to encourage the hips to open, the lower back to stretch. Alright. So now, just going to take a few moments just to kind of bring a bit of strength into the middle of the back, into the muscles in the shoulders. Take the hands behind us, fingers pointing away. We lift the chest and we just try to push through the hands and the arms using the muscles in the middle of the back. So we push in and lift up and just hold that for a few moments. Again, this is quite an important strengthening exercise to do repeatedly. I'll only do it once on the video, but it's for you to build that strength in the muscles in the middle of the back. And lowering down. We just take the bum back, the feet come forwards. We can kind of just, if we can't reach the toes, we just stay here with the hands. And we just lift up from the chest and gently begin to fold down, lowering the head, feeling the stretch into the spine, into the lower back. Spending a few breaths in this posture, just kind of feeling into the stretch. If you don't worry, if you're kind of up here still, that's absolutely fine. Just work with your body. Okay, so one more stretch and then when it's finished, go onto the hands and knees. We take the hands a little bit further forwards, and this is for the alignment of the hips. We just gently begin to bring the bum back towards the heels, and we just eventually sit the heels down towards the floor into kind of a traditional child's pose, but we just make small movements from side to side, just moving the hands a bit further forwards, just stretching, elongating the spine, just breathing into that posture. Just keep moving, keep on getting the hips open. So, come up, just shake the body out, shake the hands, shake the feet, maybe just shake a little, step from side to side. Just shake the body after doing some stretches and things, just to bring a bit of elasticity to what we've just been opening. Okay, so thank you. I hope you enjoy and get some use out of that stretching and opening warm-up. Okay.